Hey guys, what's up? This is Krazak, and welcome back once again. Now, it's a bit of a funny story, really. I wasn't planning on recording today, or even this podcast as you guys are listening to it. It wasn't actually intentional, it wasn't planned. It was just something where I was thinking and decided, hey, you guys probably like thinking with me. So, what it is that I actually do have another podcast planned, and I was planning on doing that one first. However, that one is very research intensive, very philosophical, and as such, has taken longer than I would have liked to produce. But it's kind of interesting that that comes up now, just because the topic that I do want to touch on. And it actually came up, I believe, just this morning, where because I like music, or rather, I guess I could say I love music, all sorts of music, just I found it yeah, I found it kind of interesting to see a video on the White Stripes Seven Nation Army as folk music, and that piqued my interest because normally you'd think folk music does not really look necessarily like that. I didn't expect it, and as such, I gave it a watch. I was like, okay, let's see what's going on here, and sure enough, I wasn't disappointed. But it did get me thinking, how is stuff like folk music or culture in that regard still alive today? And you used to see that, and you still see it in many religious circles, I guess you could say. And the fact that you could say church culture or social gathering is a normal thing. And I'm going to just call it social gathering from here on out because it's not something just exclusive to religious circles. For those of you who may be religious, for those of you who may not be, but rather kind of interesting to see that we're not that different, you and I, in these kinds of ways. Just in thinking that people still do long for that, and this has become a bit more of a reflection on that. So, just how has this happened? And I'd say the answer is with the rise of things like sports and entertainment, that people have honestly gone a lot towards sports, which is fair. People like their people like watching football or soccer, American football, and everywhere else football, as I'll say, or football, is pretty big. And a lot of people, of course, gravitate towards that. It's something they can cheer for, it's something they can gather for, it's something they can rally for. And now, with that, what does that come through? Like, how does that come through as social gathering? And the answer is simple. It's a place where people can be social. It's a place where people can be on the same page, or even on a different page, and often still agree on things. Because at the end of the day, it's not about agreeing or disagreeing. It's about having fun. It's about enjoying the time that you get with your family, with your friends, with your neighbors. It crosses the lines of things like race, of things like gender, of things like sexuality, and becomes a way in which people can find to get along. And it's really cool to be able to see that. Granted, you can also say that things like that happen with, I guess, their select bars or whatever, but I I don't take part in that, so I wouldn't personally know. And many of you guys, my viewers, also don't take part in that. So, I don't know. Maybe some of you would know, but personally I do not. I can see a lot of similarities with that in being a part of, I'm dead here, being part of a church or a religion. There are several parallels that we can draw in the fact that even though it sometimes doesn't end up happening, the goal is to cross racial boundaries, is to cross things like class, like middle class or lower class, or even upper class. It's something meant to transcend. It's something meant to be social and not just about necessarily, oh, how good of an experience you can get. But in that, it also becomes something higher. And it's in becoming that something higher where it's really cool. Because you get to experience on a personal level. And you get to be able to share that with others. You get to be able to really experience things in a new way. And maybe no, it's not as entertaining as sports is, but I'd say that it draws a very similar line to the culture of social gathering. And now I'm not necessarily saying, hey, you have to go out and do this either. But what I guess this goes to say is that perhaps we're not really as different as we may think that we are. In which case, it does invite you to come and see what it's about. And I mean, it is part of that journey. I mean, I guess it is somewhat simple in the end. Perhaps it was just a critique. Perhaps this was just rambling on. But as a reflection, I think it gets its point across. That social culture isn't dead. Society isn't dead. And it may not be as foreign to you as you may think it is. And hopefully, in whatever way that you get to experience it, you have a way to experience it. And I mean, another thing that I can think, just I guess to tie it all up, is yes, you can go. You can frequently attend things like this. Things like sports events. Or things like a church. But you don't live there. At the end of the day, you don't live there. You don't stay there. You still have a home to go to. And you still have a life to live. It's no different regardless of where you are. But see, that's not what it's about, or where everything necessarily happens, is it? No. It becomes a means by which to experience these things. And granted, that doesn't trivialize the importance of it. It just goes to say that, hey, if you were to live there, you probably wouldn't be experiencing things the way that you would hope to. But this is probably a bit shorter, I think this is a good note to end on now. Thank you guys for checking in, for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed what you see. But in the end, this is Krazak signing out. I'll see ya.